Hello everyone, welcome again to another review. In this case, we will be taking a look to the Dremel 3000 and you will see why I don't recommend this tool. At some point in a project, you have to use something to cut it, to mold it, to change the shape in a certain way. And you can say, well, I could use a regular saw for doing this, but sometimes this can be too cumbersome or too big to get the job done. So that's when this tool comes into place. And you can think, okay, a Dremel, as I thought, it's really well known, can be really useful. But we're going to check really in detail with some examples how this could be the wrong tool for your everyday project. And in this case in particular, I'm speaking of the 3000, and you can see that it has a power of 130 watts and a speed of 33,000 revolutions per minute. This is extremely high, and we're going to see how this affects the tool. Let's discuss a bit the quality, the build quality. This is the second one that I had. The first one that I got out of the box had some scratches around the body that it was looking that it was previously used. This one turned out to be better, but you can see here this molding is not accurate. This is not something that you will see in a piece of better quality. So also here you can see that it has these stickers that even though here they are correctly placed, but this one here, for example, looks to me like it comes from a toy. And this selector for the revolutions, you can move it here, but then it's kind of loose. And this happens in every position. So then this turns out to be like, it's not I'm going to select, I don't know, 6,000 revolution. It's more or less I'm going to let it be there and then see if I get the job done. So it is not something you can select the speed. It's more something like after seeing or how it works when you try to do something, then you adjust it from here. It's not precise at all. And I have this tool for many months, but I've used this maybe 5 times in total, and I'm not pleased with the solution. And this is only the aesthetic or the build quality. It is not so bad, let's say, other than these details, but I think it could be better than that. I have a piece of wood here. It's relatively thick. It's around, maybe you can see there, 9 millimeters thick. And I will try to cut here this length of 3.5 centimeters. I have this disc, which is the original one from Dremel, and you can see here the code. Heavy duty, we will see. Well, as you can see, it cut almost through, but the disc is burned on the sides, and also this one. You can see how it turned out to be in the middle. Now I will try to cut the same, but with my saw. So I made a mark here of 3.5 centimeters, and I will try to compete against the Dremel. And ready. Of course I couldn't follow the line because it's really hard to hold in this position, but you can see I finished on both sides with a clean cut, and this using a saw which is already been used a lot. We're going to discuss about this. This tool is also from Dremel. It's just we're going to try to make a hole in the same wood. Sorry for shaking, but this went really fast. This is good. This one is also from Dremel, and it's meant to carve, and I will try it on the edges. So you can see how much pressure I had to do, and it was really loud and also burned the wood and didn't eat much. As a comparison, let's try to use this one. This is a sandpaper, another tool from Dremel, and this I already used, as you can see. So let's check it. So as you can see, this one is cleaner and I prefer it, although what I was making pressure, and this is the biggest problem that the Dremel has, this thing got loose because the torque that this tool has is really low. So when you make a lot of pressure, then it slips and it doesn't continue to carve. And of course, among other tools, you have this thing to polish. You have that you put it into this screw, kind of like this. So you screw it here, and you're supposed to polish with this. Then you have, again, more discs. These are the ones that came with the Dremel in itself. You can see how thick it is. By the way, this is the one that I was using before, which I bought extra. And you can see the difference in the thickness. I find the thinner, the better. With this one, you cannot cut nothing. And the funny thing is that this is addressed also here in the package, at least for this one that I bought, that you can cut wood, you can cut metal, many other things that you can do with this little thing. Here, actually, you can see in the picture, it is cutting through copper. Copper could be, or bronze, I don't know. But the thing is also you have this brush, which is meant to polish or to clean surfaces like aluminum. And you have this stone, which is meant to sharp. I failed to do this. I didn't like it. And basically that's it. That's the ones that come with the tool and the box. But then this is something that shows, and this is the purpose of the video. Because in this one, what I want to tell you is this. I had a small project where I had to cut this wood. As you can see how bad it looks like. So I had to follow a certain shape, but here at the bottom, I tried to use the Dremel because I thought, okay, I can cut it just like that. and of course it burned, but it did from the beginning. So you also saw in the video that how much smoke is coming not from the Dremel but from the wood, because it is not cutting it, it just burning it. And you can see also in that piece of wood that I cut in the video how bad it looks like there. While the cut that I did with the saw was perfect, clean, and also really fast. And that's to me, one of the biggest contrasts of this tool, and this is how you should use it. If you dare, I don't advise you to do this, but if you dare to buy this tool, at least this model, then you should know the limitations. And for me, when you have something small like this project, like to cut a piece of wood or to cut a bit of metal, then you go to this tool and you kind of rely that you can do that with this one, and at the end you can't. Is really frustrating, because at the end of the day, what saves you is the saw, what saves you is the regular tools that are more industrial, if you will. One of the aspects that I don't like about this tool is the noise. It's really loud. When you use the 100% of the revolutions or the 33,000 revolutions that this tool can, then you are so loud that it is unbearable. Even though when you are using, I mean, you are not supposed to go so high revolutions to cut, to use this disc, to cut, for example, this wood, then it was sounding like in my apartment I had a workshop for wood. It was really bad, and I am sure I disturbed my neighbors. So this is not out of nowhere, but this is how this tool works, and this is the consequences, this loud noise, because one of the wrong things about this is like we put a lot of expectation on revolutions. And when you are cutting, what is important is how much force you are doing. And yeah, you can do it fast, it's okay. But if you switch speed for force, then you're not going to cut as easy as if you put a lot of force and you do it slower and in a controlled movement. This is what happens with the saw. In the end, this saved my day, and the Dremel was useless. And you can see how clean this cut is here versus this other cut here, which is uncontrolled, which is also burning, so damaging the finishing of the element, and in the end it is useless. So if you want to use this tool to cut stuff, I recommend you to look away from it. The lower torque that this tool has is a huge problem, and with everything that you want to cut, you are going to be disappointed. You are not going to get the job done if you need to cut stuff with this tool. When it comes to drilling holes, for example, I have this one which also came with the tool. Yes, this works perfectly, and you see how fast I could do this hole. But the problem is that when you want to use another size for the holes, then you're limited to what you can insert here. And of course there are adapters, but there's an extra thing that you have to buy for this. And that also shows whatever you want to do with this tool, you need an adapter for this, you need an adapter for the other stuff. And these little things that you can do are just that, just little things that if you want to cut something, it has to be really fine, has to be really small. And if you want to make a hole, then you either have this size or you have to buy an adapter for the other size, and then you have to be careful because you can damage it and then it breaks. When you want to, I don't know, polish something, you're limited by the size of this. So you are also going to polish small surfaces because with this you cannot work on so much. And this is how this tool works in the end. So to give you a conclusion about this, I will put the price for which you can find this tool today. And my advice is the following. If you have to cut, if you have to do heavy work, let's say, or work that you would expect to say, okay, I will not use the saw, this small saw, I will use the Dremel instead, you're going to be disappointed. You have to check what the bigger power ones can offer. This is already 130 watts, which is already should be enough for many daily tasks. it disappoints. I bought the discs, the fine ones, also disappointed. It's not working properly. They burn the wood. Also these other tools that are supposed to work, like you saw, for example, when I was trying to grind with this piece of sandpaper, this was not working because the small torque made this spin, and this turns separately than the sandpaper, and then it doesn't work. So you're always limited by that, and that's why I'm really disappointed about this. So if you can, search for other brand names, search for other powers, and if you can, also search for the torque numbers and compare it to the one of this Dremel. I hope this video was useful to you, and I hope that I can save you some troubles, and maybe in the future you can rely on a serious tool and not something like this. So see you around in the next videos.